living in a dream. One swimming up, one swimming downstream. The Pisces life, 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 the Pisces life.
The wonderful thing about podcasting, especially for those who are new, either as listeners and or guests, is that it makes people feel like their voice is being heard.
Absolutely.
And if you, especially depending upon where you are in life or where you work or what position you know, and role you play in your family, you very well may feel like that you are not being heard. So podcasting in a lot of ways is super empowering. And I think for some of our past guests, being able to hear themselves and be able to contribute to such important conversations is really good for the soul. So,
girl, it is good for the soul, and we have a forever fan in that one right there,
which is awesome.
It is awesome.
And I'm sure we'll see them back at some point soon, because there's always a lot to talk about on this here. So I guess let me kick it off. You know, you normally kick it off, sis. Let me practice a little bit. You have reached the Pisces Life Podcast, and this is episode 146. We welcome you to the show. We love you for listening and supporting and sharing. We see you out there in these internet streets talking about these shows that we have been putting out there. Shout out to all of our guests who appeared on our Blitz the Vote series and then our after series, the post-election Kiki. That was super fun.
Yes.
But before we go any further, I would like to introduce my co-host. Y'all know her, y'all love her, journalist, political analyst, get you right togetherness. It's my sis, Miss Letitia. Say hello to the people.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
And it's me, you know, the singer, songwriting poet.
Hey.
Speak to your spirit, but we'll snatch your edges if you get out of line. It is me, Kyla. Hey, y'all beautiful people. We missed y'all. We are back. We was a little off cycle because of the election, but we are back on our regular. And we have a lot to talk about today, sis.
Oh, so much.
Sis, while we don't have no acknowledged transition plan with our current presidential-elect Joe Biden and vice presidential-elect Kamala Harris, why we don't have no plan?
Well, there's a lot going on, sis, politically. Shall we catch the people up?
Yes.
Shall we catch the people up? First important news. Joe Biden is going to be the next president. that has not changed. Kamala Harris is going to be the next vice president of the United States. That has not changed. The current administration has not conceded. That has not changed. Over the weekend, he got slick at the Twitter fingers, and he going to type out, he won the election because of such and such and such and such. Oh, the newspaper took, he won, quote, ... Didn't care what else he said after that. This man has been tweeting out ever since. I concede nothing. I didn't say he won. I did not. I'm so ready for this to be over. I have never in my life seen the state of affairs in this way. And both you and I have both political experience. Never in our lives have we seen someone just flat out refuse to admit you did not win, sir. You're not the winner. You didn't win no popular vote.
No.
You did not win them electoral votes. You did not get enough of either one of those votes to do anything to keep your current position. And you're whining about it. You're unnecessary and you're in the way. Now, this is a public service announcement to Emily Murphy. the General Services Administrator. She is the person, the sole person, who is holding up the transitional funds. And that is, for those of you who are not familiar, that is a key position. President Biden, elect, has the right to put a team in place to ensure an orderly transition. And you put them at all of the posts over your money. So that's the Federal Reserves. You put them over the national security. So that's the CIA, FBI, and all of that, special services, all of that. And then you also put them over the things that need transition, like this pandemic. Yes. Those are the top 3 spots that you are going to secure right away. Now, you secure them all, but those are the top 3 spots that you secure, as well as your cabinet.
Yes.
We are in an unprecedented space. Everyone at the time of this podcast that has been let go from the current administration has been, or historically has been, as part of their job, the transition team for the next administration. See? Now, we have not been exposed to this disorderliness because nobody has showed their tails like this before. Okay? Sis, your thoughts?
I don't understand, maybe is the better way to address this. What is the power of the people? Because I thought that once you cast your votes, there was then said process that ensued. I would like to read something that came across my timeline from the forever First Lady.
Oh, I love her. I love her. Okay.
We love her so much. This would be our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama, and I quote, "This week I've been reflecting a lot on where I was 4 years ago. Hillary Clinton had just been dealt a tough loss by a far closer margin than the one we've seen this year. I was hurt and disappointed, but the votes had been counted and Donald Trump had won. The American people had spoken. And one of the great responsibilities of the presidency is to listen when they do. So my husband and I instructed our staffs to do what George and Laura Bush had done for us. Run a respectful, seamless transition of power, one of the hallmarks of American democracy. We invited the folks from the president-elect's team into our offices and prepared detailed memos for them, offering what we'd learned over the past 8 years. I have to be honest and say that none of this was easy for me. Donald Trump had spread racist lies about my husband that had put my family in danger. That wasn't something I was ready to forgive. But I knew that for the sake of our country, I had to find the strength and maturity to put my anger aside. So I welcomed Melania Trump into the White House and talked with her about my experience, answering every question she had, from the heightened scrutiny that comes with being First Lady to what it's like to raise kids in the White House. I knew in my heart it was the right thing to do because our democracy is so much bigger than anybody's ego. Our love of country requires us to respect the results of an election even when we don't like them or wish it had gone differently. The presidency doesn't belong to any one individual or any one party. To pretend that it does, to play along with these groundless conspiracy theories, whether for personal or political gain, is to put our country's health and security in danger. This isn't a game. So I want to urge all Americans, especially our nation's leaders, regardless of party, to honor the electoral process and do your part to encourage a smooth transition of power, just as sitting presidents have done throughout our history. I don't think that we could put it any better than that.
At all.
I just
forever FLOTUS.
Forever the FLOTUS. I want to understand how this president has decided that he gonna just make us make him president again.
He said, can't nobody put him out. Can't nobody.
Let me tell you one thing here. You can sit up in that White House all you want to. That does not stop that President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris, they can be sworn in on the corner in a hotel lobby. That is not going to stop this from happening. Now, I just want to place this out in the universe.
Amen. Come on with it.
There's a few people that ain't gonna mind coming and getting them up out of there. You know what I'm saying? There are folks who done got people up out of places before that they didn't belong. So, okay, we know some people. I'm just saying, use your resources. Use your resources. Shout out to Big B down there in the DMV area. He is also a bouncer. I've seen him remove people from property.
He's a big brother.
He close. Mm-hmm. Use your resources, people. You just can't allow.
He could be of assistance.
He could be of assistance. You cannot allow democracy and what the people have said. You cannot allow democracy to go any further damaged than how it has been damaged. On our post-election Kiki, we played a little game.
Yes, we did.
Called Fight First. Called Fight First. And a lot of folks wanted to see Betsy DeVos up out of there. I just saw a article. I don't remember the publication, but there was an article that said that Betsy DeVos, has done more damage to the student loan program than any leader before her.
Ever in the history of the U.S. Department of Education and its givings of financial aids. The history.
So at what point do we have to just be like, enough is enough? My goodness.
All the titles. She done messed up the Title IX, the Title VII, all the titles in education. She done jacked them all up.
And if you dig deeper, she's just one example of a litany of poor leadership, poor oversight, poor governance.
Poor.
We have to get ourselves back together. We are moving into a critical season with coronavirus. And even though there are people who say that they have their vaccines and other things happening, they are predicting that we are going to need to hunker down and do some hard work to get over what's about to come our way. And I don't know about you, sis. I don't feel comfortable allowing this current presidency to provide governance and leadership about what they are predicting the regular people is going to have to endure. We're not talking about that top 1%, the rich people who can buy their way up out of most things. I'm talking about the regular, everyday working people and even the essential workers and the public servants and the homeless folks, the animals, like even the little stray puppies,
Not the stray ones, girl. The stray ones now.
The stray puppies is in danger, child.
Look, because I'm telling you, some pets is getting put out the house. Folks is trying to feed children or Fluffy, and they can't do both. We're not going to act like that extra unemployment has been cut. I got a notice the other day talking about, we see you voted. We need to So now I'm on all these lists for this stuff. I said, don't send nothing here. I have been out at 6 a.m. darn near every morning, except for when I had my car accident and when I had a medical procedure. I have been up diligently going to check for Lysol, going to check for Pantol, going to check for bleach, going to check, get whatever I can, Clorox, whatever I can.
Yes.
I'm ready. I knew this was going to happen. And if you are listening to us at the Pisces Life, we told you.
We did.
Michigan and Illinois at the time of this podcast is right back on a partial lockdown. Now they didn't close down the beauty shops yet. The gym is closed because y'all still want to go up in there. I can't breathe and work out with my mask on. Well, guess what? You don't come work out here then. You don't work out in the public place without your mask. We are seeing unprecedented foolishness. In our state, the current administration came and did at least 4 rallies before the election. He inspires a crowd that does not like to wear masks. There was a huge bicycle rally that was headed out west. There was over 10,000 people, I heard, that left from Michigan alone that went out there. No masks. So we are at a heightened when people go back home, when people don't take care of it, when people are out here being reckless. We need you to mask up. Wear your masks. And if you don't want to wear them, stay at home. It's really that plain and simple.
It really is, sis. And I just don't understand why people are debating the science.
Yes.
So we have a newly elected Congresswoman out of Georgia.
Okay, yes.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay.
Who has slammed any law provision, institution, guidance about wearing masks and states that it's Democrat tyrannical control.
Oh, Lord.
That is keeping us, the Republic, at bay, that we are not able to demonstrate our rights as citizens if government is telling us as people that we need to wear masks. And it should be our choices to not wear masks if that is what we desire. Well, let me just say this to you, sis, down there in Georgia, in DC now, because you are the elect and I guess working on your own transition of sorts. I don't wish no harm on nobody, but the people who don't want to wear masks because of this ignorance, I'm just saying.
We got to leave you alone. We got to leave you alone.
Just let it move you and let it use you.
Let it move you. Because we ain't fooling with you. How about that?
We ain't fooling with you.
We are not fooling with you. You gonna get somewhere and sit down somewhere. And if you gonna be out in public without a mask, just shut up. Don't say nothing. You don't have to greet the people. We see you out here maskless. We don't expect or want a conversation with you.
Nope, not even.
I don't care what you're doing. If you're not in your own personal space, you really need to mask up. You know, I wear gloves as well when I'm in public. You know, I'm all the way. I'm not playing, sis. Thank you for my hook, sis. Girl, I pulled out my little hook and opened up the door. The man looked at me and I said, oh, it's a hook that, you know, you don't have to touch anything.
You don't have to touch
He looked
things.
at me. Girl, he said, I hate to be rude as a gentleman. Would you mind opening? I sure will get that door for us. Girl, he was so happy. He said, I gotta get, where you get that? I don't even know. I don't know, sir. It was a gift. He said, that was a thoughtful gift. I said, it was, wasn't it? So thank you, sis. Girl, I ain't touched
nothing. Not a nothing. Not a keypad. Not a nothing.
I ain't touched a nothing. You hear me? And it's also handy when you need something from the top shelf at the grocery store. Kind of hook it up there. Don't do it with nothing heavy, but hook it on there and knock it on down to you. I did that the other day. I said, look at this.
It has lots of usage.
Lots of usage. Girl, I'm one of those people that they probably have the sign on the shelf. Please don't climb up here. I got to get up here. Sometimes. If y'all gonna insist upon putting the things above my head, like I'm 6'3", then I have to get up here.
Who decided that the shelves in the markets have to be that tall?
I don't know. but it's a problem.
It is a problem. I am a knocker downer, and you know, sometimes not so graceful about it.
Nope.
Sometimes I gotta
throw up a whole soup display. Knock down all that Campbell's 10 for 10. Sure did. Now, I do help the people. I help gather the can. I could not do the display, but I help put them in an area that would be easy for those to restack them. I do my part. And I bought 4 cans of the soup too, just because since I done knocked it down, I just...
Right, we ain't want no problem.
I was going to get 4 of these. That's why I wasn't, but I felt bad.
I feel you, sis. I'm with you too. Be like, oh, okay. Flatline that whole row, okay.
Girl, right.
Like,
sorry, all them boxes is down. Clean up in aisle 4. I didn't want to say nothing. No, it's dry goods. So
it's dry goods. Y'all
it's dry goods.
Y'all just stand the boxes back up. My fault. My fault, loves. My fault.
My fault. I'm so sorry, baby. Y'all have a good day in here. Yes. I'm so sorry.
Yes, with your sweet self. Yes.
With your sweet self. Girl, the one little boy that carry out my stuff out to the car. Thank you, honey. He said, yeah, you come in so early and you always so nice. Thank you, sweetheart. Girl, sis, I'm so tired. I can't lift water like I used to. Are they making them heavier? I cannot lift water like I used to.
That water is pretty heavy. We get the water delivered from the Instacart and just getting it from the porch. Girl. Into the house. I'll be like, I need my back brace on. What is happening? Auntieville.
Listen, Auntieville City. Well, child, we got to get into some stuff that's been happening outside of politics, outside of COVID. We are back in the house and I'm watching TV. Ready to Love is on. We got something special coming for y'all, Pisces Life listeners. Not only do we have the inside scoop, we got somebody from casting. Oh, yes. Will your girl get on the next season? Who knows?
Come on, sis.
Who knows?
Come on, sis.
I'm going to tell you what I would do if I was on this season. I'm going to tell you that. But we got something special coming up for y'all. Y'all going to have to hold on for that. Girl, I have Netflix. Come all the way through. Netflix done did this Jingle Jangle.
Yes, the Christmas movie. Ooh,
Thank you, the Christmas one.
Yes.
Felicia Rashad is in it. Although I have a pause on Felicia Rashad now. Listen, when sister goes dark and she played evil like she did in Black Box on Prime, on Amazon Prime, scared. I'd be scared. She ain't got to pop you or nothing.
That's that good acting, child. That's that Felicia Rashad acting.
Baby. And I love her haircut too in that movie. It was super cute. But a lot is going on. Netflix at this time has 4 major blockbuster opportunities heading into Oscars based on some of their original programming that has been for us by us. So they doing the darn thing. You can get your life with Moesha. All the UPN shows that got canceled have found a new home on Netflix.
Amazing. They're doing it. It's just good to see us on television.
It is.
And not be somebody's sassy receptionist or somebody's maid or, just like we have regular lives and friends and, family and businesses and all that type of stuff. So it's just good to see, those characters reflect themselves on television.
And then another show that's on, and I think everybody needs to tune in. Her Instagram also is doing a really good job of keeping people positive during this time. But Iyanla Van Zandt is back with the new season. OWN is really doing something. Check out Oprah Winfrey Network. First of all, they are satisfying us with Black holiday stories. PSA, Hallmark, it's a little too late. It's a little too late. And more than Kim Fields and Holly Robinson Pete, love them both dearly. But more than those 2 actresses, Black actresses can act and are wholesome enough, if you will, to fit your bill to be on your Hallmark stuff. But meanwhile, Oprah got us, girl. Nice Christmas stuff there. doing good with the original programming. But then Iyanla Van Zandt came back. She is on the third episode, and we recognize the familiar face.
Yeah.
Y'all might know her, friend of the show, our Pisces sis, our celebrity sis who came and said yes for that interview and then came back and said yes for that anniversary special. Hey, Luenell.
Hey, Luenell. We love you.
We love you, girl. She was on Iyanla Van Zandt, Fix My Life.
Yes, she was. And it was a good episode.
It was a really good episode. So we're going to take our time with this one because there were several things to walk through. Number one, when you see somebody and they come in to your space as the celebrity that they are. I mean, she's got credits of the yin yang, movie credits as well as stage credits for comedy. But when you see them let their guard down and you get to see them in a different way, I thought about even every time that she's come on the show or the times that she's come on, she always spoke so lovingly of her daughter, Luenell.
Yes.
She always spoke lovingly and proud of her, and I just thought that they would have been so super close. So that's what the premise of it was for her Fix My Life, helping her and her daughter communicate and heal some things that had happened. What were your thoughts coming into this? Did you expect to see the Luenell we knew, or
when I saw the advertisement that it was Luenell, I'm like, what they about to fix? What's going on? Because I did not expect that that they had, and it just shows you when you know someone who is in the spotlight or, a celebrity or, someone who's popular in that way, you only see a small percentage of who they are. You don't know, them in their totality. And so it was just surprising that all of these deep feelings. And my initial reaction when the show first came on was Luenell looked nervous. And for as many stages that she's been on, and even the things that she taught us when we went to comedy school about presence and how you shake, your nerves and get with the crowd and all of that, she looked nervous.
Yes, I agree.
Which I thought was a good place to start because that made me feel like that she was going to be vulnerable in this process.
Sis, I absolutely agree with you. I also picked up on something. Luenell loves her some Luenell, okay? And everything that she does, she promotes it. She pushes it. You get 2 or 3 Instagram stories about it. She goes on her YouTube Live. Y'all make sure you support her. She goes on her YouTube Live. She talks about it. She'll show us the clips of it. We didn't see none of this. I happened to catch her live one morning. She does it's odd times for us because of the time difference. She's out in LA and we're in the Midwest. And she was on and she said, somebody had typed in the comments, is it true? Is that really you that I saw on the clip for Fix My Life? And she said, yes, it's me. And that was it. She didn't say anything else. And you're right. She was very nervous. I thought she was going to be the Luenell. Boom, boom, boom. As a matter of fact, I was kind of nervous with her and Iyanla meeting up. I ain't going to lie. I said, oh, this going to be the show. They probably should have said this for the finale. This going to be the show where if anybody going to snatch Iyanla up, I would have put $50.20 on it, that it would have been Luenell. And I mean, just because of how Iyanla can rock her world, and Luenell is not to be rocked with.
Absolutely.
We don't cuss on this show, but she ain't to be rocked with.
for sure. But I think because it was about her relationship with her daughter, that was the only thing. She said it on the show. The 2 most important things to me is you and comedy. And that is it. And I think that her having this vulnerable space with the thing that she loves, the most was the thing that quelled her spirit to quiet. And we all know everybody on their own personal life journey has that person or persons that quells them to quiet, where you, under any other circumstances, you would be popping off. But you're like, oh no, here we go, for whatever reason. And it was the thing that just stood out to me, and I don't know if you picked this up, sis, and if you and your mom had this, when Luenell's daughter was talking about the fact that she doesn't feel heard, that her mother dismisses her and gets defensive when she shares her feeling. And Iyanla said, girl, that's what all mamas do. That's just what they do,
Yeah.
But as coming from the daughter space, right?
Yes.
And how do you manage your own womanhood in a space with your mother, and having to get that same kind of level of respect?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this happens in non-Black households, but I've always felt that, forever until glory, my mother is here and I'm here, despite the fact that I'm as much woman as she is.
Right.
And is that cultural, and is that damaging for the Black daughters to have to sit in that space where you can exercise your full womanness?
Well, that is a very interesting question. And let me peel back a few layers. I think that there's some things to consider with positionality in this and the way you navigate that relationship. So, for example, in my situation, my mother could be all the way up here, and I was fine to be down here because I never questioned that hierarchy. I never thought that there would be an ascension. And I just never thought that dynamic, I mean, in my family, those dynamics were very tight. My grandmother was the matriarch, period. And when you are the daughter of the matriarch and you are the only, and that daughter is the only daughter, then the dynamics change. We always got, my grandmother was first, my mother, and then me, down in here somewhere. I never thought to challenge that hierarchy, or I never thought the possibility of it would be that it would change, except for now the circumstances have changed due to having buried them all. But I think that there is a moment where, as a young girl, I did struggle with finding my independence and being sure of myself outside of my mother's guidance or careful hand on me or what have you. Donnell is also a only child. And I think that I read that situation. Sometimes only girls can get that independence, and a mother will buck that, because it's like, woman to woman, don't be, hey, I'm still teaching you here. You ain't grown, And I very clearly could see that with Luenell and her daughter, and getting in that space of, you're coming and going so much, and she's grown up. She's 18, and maybe she don't, maybe she is out and about, I don't know. But I could imagine there was a struggle of, oh, shoot, she done grew up. And maybe Luenell, she almost said this in so many ways. I thought that I would be able to build it while she was young enough and couldn't pay attention or would notice, because she really went into a space of denial for a moment and said, I don't believe she ever paid attention or knew that I was going like that. A kid knows, a baby knows.
We have attachment disorder all the time that happens as a result of the bond that doesn't happen when a child is born, and that whole kind of skin to skin with mom, moving from in the stomach to on the chest, and keeping that kind of bond. And when that bond is broken, the failure to thrive happens in a lot of newborn, when they are not connected back with their mothers, their birth mothers. And so it's interesting that she being Luenell, felt that because she was young, that she wouldn't miss her as much. But what also happens in those situations, biologically speaking and otherwise, developmentally speaking, is when you don't have the nurture of birth mother, you develop resiliency and more independence. And so because you feel like you are out here kind of on your own. And yes, she had her father and had her grandparents, but she was aware that her mother was, one, still alive, and two, just not there. And maybe she didn't understand the reasoning why she could not be there.
She said she couldn't. She did say that.
But interesting enough that they have this duality that existed. Daughter, resentful of mother for leaving her because she didn't understand, if you went to California, to Los Angeles, and I was in Oak, why you couldn't just take me with you?
Right.
Same thing with Luenell and Luenell's mother.
I heard that too. What was unclear to me, Luenell said that she was 7, but 8 she gave away, child, meaning 8th child she gave away. So I'm not sure if Luenell was the kid that was given away, or if Luenell was the kid that had to stay with the other siblings and that one was sent away, and she watched that too. Now, similarly enough, in my own family, and this is a family secret, well, it's no longer a secret, and the people who it affects, they are now deceased. But my grandmother was raised, my dad's mother was raised with who she thought was her brothers and sisters all along, and they were really her aunt and uncle. She had no idea. And when they called her to say, you know, your mother died or what have you, she was like, my mother ain't dead. What y'all talking about? And they were like, girl, so-and-so is your real mother. And she was like, excuse me?
Right.
And I love my family. Don't get me wrong, you or Pisces Life listeners. But that was a piece of my grandmother that I always felt never really healed. And I often think that it kept her from maybe giving me some of the love that I would have wanted from her, that I wanted more of her. She just, my grandmother was just my two grandmothers were very different, but in the same way. You know what I mean? Like my mother's mother, she could be sweet as pie, but she was hypercritical. You know, instead of saying you lost weight since I last saw you, good thing you ain't as big as the last time I saw you. I mean, doggone, say I done lost 5 pounds. You ain't got to say your butt ain't looking as big.
Right.
You know, she was what I would call a negative encourager. But when you start peeling those layers back, we really do. And that when she broke down and said, I don't want to think that I hurt my baby. Girl, I'm getting teary-eyed now. Girl, that thing cut me. Because that woman, she loves that baby. She loves her child.
She loves her child, but she has to give herself permission. So Sister Luenell, let me say this to you, sis.
Please,
and I say this
sis.
With all respect, because you know we love you, and we wouldn't say anything unless it was spoken with love, that you have to give yourself permission to admit that you didn't have it all together. And that it may not have went as perfect as you wanted it to. And that although right now things are feeling good and looking good because your baby girl said she paid my way through school. I don't have no student loans. And
she getting them parts, honey. She on TV dancing.
She doing her thing. And certainly a big portion of her success can be attributed to you. But I think that it is okay for you as her mother to be like, you know what? I was doing it the best way that I knew how, and I may not have had all the tools, all of the knowledge, all of the examples, all of the resources, all of the words. I may not have had it all together. And that it wasn't intentional, but by way of me not having all of the things that I needed for my child, she may have experienced some level of hurt as a result of that. And then that is where you start your healing. Like, it's nobody's blaming you for making the decision. Like, you had to go to LA.
No, not even your daughter.
Not even your daughter. No one's blaming you for that. But we talked about this a few episodes back about the power of communication and how you have to not only communicate your message, but you got to communicate your message in the way that the person who is receiving the communication can consume it. And so the fact that there were things that were said and done, but not communicated in the way that her daughter could receive them, because I could see the burden lifting every conversation they had, every truthful moment they had. I could see the burden lifting from her daughter, because she finally got the words that she needed from Luenell, not the jokes. But the words, so that she could hold on to that. Because and I don't know what type of spirit her daughter is, but she seems like a quiet spirit, a sensitive spirit. And although I'm on this podcast, and although I do poetry and sing songs and perform and all the rest of that, on the inside of my body is pretty quiet. And I don't like being made fun of. I don't like being the butt of people's jokes. I don't like that kind of make me the funny end of conversation. And her daughter reminded me of myself, in that if you are coming at me on a jokey joke, like I'm a clown you and make you feel, and not even necessarily to make me feel bad, but clowning me in an environment that would bring shame or embarrassment, I'm gonna shut down too and not want to talk to you, because I'm gonna feel like if I say what I feel, then it's going to show up in your routine on the stage the next time. And everybody doesn't respond well to that. There are some people who don't even care. They like, bring it on, talk about me on stage, or make a joke about me, but everybody doesn't respond to that. It seems like her daughter responds to direct, honest communication. Just say what it is, say what you feel, and afford me the opportunity to say what I feel. The other thing that I felt about that was her daughter was so scared to speak her truth.
She was, but I mean, I've seen Luenell in the stage, and that's her performing, and it got tight. I cannot imagine her let me tell you this, I don't want to cross her. And I don't, there ain't many people that make me blink. But that one right there, if Luenell was tight with me, I'd have to sit up and take notice of that stuff. And she would have, I'd be ready. I'd be ready, because it would jump. I don't know what would happen. I really do. Love her dearly. But if Luenell was to get at me, I'd be a little tight back. I can understand why you would be like, Now, there's one thing that I did not like.
Okay, let's hear it, sis.
One thing that really I want to say that it pissed me off, because I thought somebody on the staff was being funny, because some of them people is shady on that doggone Iyanla Fix behind. Ever since I found out that the producer outed Tamar's secret with her being abused, and I've been having a side eye behind them scenes. I did not like that sign, that mask with the vicious dog barking. I didn't like that. I thought somebody was calling Luenell a bitch on the sly. And we don't use those words here, but I would like to keep that one in. I thought that they were doing that I didn't like that. There are plenty. You could go back through Luenell's catalog of her L murder persona, where she's frowned up and you could have pulled one of those out and made a mask. I did not like the mask with that barking, vicious dog. I did not like that. I did not.
I thought it would have been better suited for the mask to be pictures of Luenell herself.
I do.
In all of her different kind of personas.
I thought so too.
So that she could see herself different. Because I think oftentimes we are not as conscious about our face, that our emotions and our intent on the inside is typically shown our face, even if we're saying something contradictory out of our mouths. And so I thought that I didn't like the dog either. I thought it should have all been pictures of herself, because I felt that, especially because the whole episode was talking about the mask, removing the mask, that with her being a performer, that there's a whole nother person, Luenell.
Yes.
And how does Luenell, the woman, see herself outside of comedy? There are folks who can't separate the two.
They cannot.
Like, we one and the same. And
I realize that. She cannot.
Be like, okay, there has to be a portion of you that the rest of us don't get to see, because it's your, it's your persona. That's who you really are. And she said that. She was like, only a couple people have seen the real me. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, that just feels super heavy to me, to have to be on all the time. Now, let's go back to comedy school. There were two things from comedy school that I remembered. One, she talked about you have to be a bit of a narcissist. And she said, I can admit that in a good way. I love me some me. I love talking about me. I love talking about the stuff that I do for me. She admitted that. But you and I also got a chance to see something from comedy school. Yes.
And you and I also got to see something in Iyanla Van Zandt. She, Miss Laura, and Kim Whitley are tight. Yes. Now, Sherry Shepherd is new. We did not get a chance to witness Sherry Shepherd with Luenell and the crew, minus her. But we have seen the crew of her, Kim Whitley, and Luenell. And also Hope Flood.
Yes.
They ride for one another. Luenell's backyard barbecues and stuff during this COVID. Girl, one night, Hope Flood was on there. She sells hats. She sells the Kool-Aid. She sells the flowers. She has all the cannabis, whatever you need. Hope Flood got it. And a joke with it.
Absolutely.
But their relationship and their sisterhood is so tight. And I love the fact at the end, when they sent her the videos, she needed that. And those are the people, from what we have witnessed with them in their company, those are the people that she'll cry to about this. Absolutely. Those are the people that she'll say, I messed it up. Shoot, even when Luenell put her daughter out the house during COVID, people thought she was playing. I bet that was one night where Luenell hit the roof. I bet she cut a fool on her baby for that.
Because she loves her baby. And so
and you got to be safe out here.
You have to be safe out here in order to make sure that everyone else around you is safe. And I agree with you, sis. I love the fact that they did round up this episode with people who love Luenell, because when you are healing and moving through the stages of healing and reconciling, you need that love. You need that support, because it's so easy to return back to the spaces and places that you previously occupied in your heart and your mind and your soul, because you've been there for so long. And when you wear masks, they start to permanently affix to your face. You know what I mean? So you don't know who you are when the mask starts to crumble and crack. You like, wait a minute, I haven't seen this face in a long time. And that's super scary when you are trying to rebuild. And I'm so happy that they did this show, because her daughter said she thought it was too late. And I just, as a message generally to our Pisces Life listeners and beyond, it is never too late. As long as you have breath left in your body, there is still yet another chance to get it right, to make amends, I'm so happy. To apologize, to learn, to grow, to be redirected. Like, it's okay that some things have taken longer to heal than others. And what I have found is the things that have taken the longest to heal typically has meant the most, or has hurt the most.
The most.
And
Girl,
so it just takes
preaching.
some time. Sometimes it takes time, and we have to afford each other that grace. We have to afford each other that grace to allow that healing to happen.
I'm so glad that you said that, because after watching that show, I cried for a number of reasons. I cried because I miss my own mother. I'm going through, saying goodbye to some childhood things that, meant a lot to my family. And I cried like a baby afterwards. And I cried for that reason. Baby, y'all got a chance to get it together. Y'all got a chance to look at each other, woman to woman. My mother will never know me as a woman.
Yeah.
She'll never know me as a woman. She'll never be able to see the wisdom and sometimes the mess ups. She'll never be able to say, good, now look here, little girl, come home. Girl, what I wouldn't give, have mercy, God, at darn near 50 years old, to crawl up in my mama's lap and have her hold me this day. I had posted this on Facebook, and I was in an emotional space, and I had watched the show with Luenell and her daughter. And I told somebody on my Facebook and a few other folks on the phone back, I was in the mood. I was in the mood now.
It's okay, sis.
I was just there, sis. And I told him, I said, you don't, to the get over it crowd, just get over it. Somebody had said to me, girl, you lost your mama so long ago. I'm surprised you even remember. Girl, if we had been in person, sis, I'd still be windmilling and swinging and decking up and squaring up. Because girl, when you've lost your own, say something. When you have loved the people, because I know some people that done buried their folks, and one person was like, girl, I still ain't cried. I just, I didn't have that type of relationship. It was a good riddance for us. Even if it was a raggedy mama, somebody gonna feel a way. Call me when you bury yours. Call me. When you don't have those things. So the just get over it crowd, it's going to take a minute. We just buried my great auntie and my cousin. I always told her, she called me and she said, it's something different. It's something different. I said, have you gotten mad yet about people going on with their lives? You stuck in your grief. I said, because it's coming. Have you gotten mad yet when folks don't treat their mama right and you think, you got yours here? And y'all can't make this work.
Right. Y'all together in the same house.
Girl.
And gotta go on a show to pull it together. Now I understand everybody ain't got the tools. So the first step is just being willing. So we willing. We acknowledge and we celebrate Luenell and her daughter for having the courage to expose themselves and their personal, struggles to the rest of the world. But there is a place for resentment among the living when you have lost. And that's why I never speak about anybody's grief, because you have a right to hold it and manage it the best that you can. I will never get over my father passing away.
Girl.
Never. I will never get over my mother, Ola, passing away. I'm never going to get over it. And some days I can manage it better than others. And some days I'm not talking to nobody and I'm going to be eating dark chocolate and watching reality TV all day with my phone turned off. But that's my right. You know what I'm saying? Like the importance of our relationships and how we feel about people is something that is personal, and instead of being critical about it.
Absolutely.
We just have to celebrate the spaces that we in. That's why this notion of grace, offering grace to one another is something that I behold, because I just think that we got to do we have to do a better job about it. Now, I'm not offering no grace to no Betsy DeVos. No, I'm not.
No,
none of them. They've outlived.
Now I'm selective with my grace now.
Selective grace.
I ain't gonna lie. Now God gives his freely. I'm not the same. See, no. This grace over here is managed and carefully, Betsy DeVos gets no more grace from me. All she can get is goodbye.
And if that, she might just get the head nod, like, and I don't mean in the vertical way. I mean in the horizontal way, like, you, as my mama used to say, good so and so.
That she used to good. I can just see. I can just see it, Lord have mercy. I can just see it.
Good
Lord have mercy.
But I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
For mamas out there everywhere. For mamas out there everywhere, baby. We love the fact that you keep trying. We love the fact that you keep pouring into your daughters. And I tell you, having been somebody's daughter, that's all we ever want is y'all. That's all.
And I, as a person who's worked with
flaws and all,
that's what I said. As a person who's worked with some of the most incredibly abused and neglected children in the state of Illinois and all over this world, they all have one thing in common. When they are taken from their mama, they be wanting to go back home to their mama.
They do.
It is a phenomenon that never ceases to amaze me.
Yep. Even a raggedy mama, they want that mama.
They want their mama back, and so it's a testament. This conversation of mothers and daughters is just one that will continue. It's a theme we've visited before on the Pisces Life, and we'll continue to do so.
Yes, we're going to talk about a special episode too. I think about the aunties and what it really means to be in the village these days, and what that means. I got a new little niece in my life. She's almost 2 months old tomorrow, and it's a joy, but there's a disruption there in terms of parental things that you would get because of COVID, people not able to come around and visit and help out with the baby. There's only 2 of us that's on the approved, relief list, if you will. And I mean, I got to keep it tight around here because I wants to hold that little sugar mama.
Yes.
Let's see your picture. I've been making her little tie-dye onesies because, my baby fancy.
Yes. Come on, fancy baby. Ooh, I love babies.
I take some white Gerbers and I make some tie-dye.
Make some cute.
Girl, real cute.
I love it. I love babies too. And that's for us aunties with no little ones.
Yes.
We don't get to do, the relief. We don't get to take y'all babies gone for a little walk while y'all gonna get your hair done, get your nail done. We can't. We ain't getting no love. We ain't getting no random sugars. None of that.
Random sugars. I miss the random sugars.
Be like, why are you trying to eat my whole face up, baby? I need my face on this side. This the good side.
Right. Wait a minute. One of the children in my life told me, she said, "You just the juiciest auntie I've ever had." And she's sitting up here squeezing my arm. I said, because I used to call her Juicy Bae. She said, "You the juiciest auntie I'd have never had."
I love it. Kids bring
I'm
a
gonna
lot
miss
of
them.
joy. Yeah.
Girl, I'm all messed up because normally I'd be in California. We be doing this show from Cali. I'm missing going to Cali. I mean, I can't even stand it. I can't stand it.
I know. Our whole lives have just changed.
And I cannot go to Cali right now, girl. They like, If you don't live here, you cannot come here.
Yeah, be like,
that's
no
where
worries.
they at right now.
Be like, no worries. I'm not trying to go. My mama's in Cali too, and I want to go and lay up under her and give me some food and some good advice, and can't do it.
That's where we should do our retreat when the world open back up. Go to Cali.
Yes, and go see our friends and hang out with our friends and see all of our people. Shout out to Kim Lehman and the babies and all them.
Brothers Lehman, Jace, J-A-O. But girl, I'm sorry, I'm stuck right now. We got to, before we get out of here, send some well wishes. Apparently Fred Hammond has the COVID.
What?
Erica Badu, our Pisces sister, tested positive in one nostril, negative in the other. They said they counted as positive, but she's doing okay. But then Jeremiah, Mr. Bedroom 6.
Yes. They say he's not doing well. They say he's not doing well. So we lifted
he might be
they say
he's on the ventilator.
He's on
like
ventilator. Yes. We just want y'all to be safe, y'all.
Please, we lift them up tonight now.
Please be safe.
We're in our respective faiths and places, but we both got prayer clauses and we takes it to the respectives in prayer.
We want y'all to stay alive, to live your best life.
Amen.
And keep on listening to the Pisces Life.
Hey.
Yes. And that's yet another edition of the Pisces Life. We are thankful for you and for you continuously riding this journey with us. If you have questions, suggestions, or comments for our Facebook folks who are commenting on our episodes, for our Twitter folk, our Instagram folk, we love you. Thank you for interacting with us and engaging with us. That really means a lot to us. But if you have questions, suggestions, comments, you can send those to thepisceslife@gmail.com. We are on Facebook and Instagram as The Pisces Life, and we are on the Twitter as Pisces Podcast. 2 words. Sis, if they're looking for you, where can they find you?
If they are looking for me, girl, if they are looking for me, they can find me waiting to the countdown of January 20th. 2021.
Yes.
They can also find me in these streets, masked up and gloved up, very early in the morning, on the hunt for Lysol still, because y'all don't know how to act. Sure. Otherwise, I'm at IamJust, Letitia, Letitia. And sis, if they are looking for you, where can they find you at?
They can find me sitting right here, putting a counter on my clock so we can count down these days that we have left in this presidential foolishness. And if y'all want to join in on the countdown, I think I'm gonna start as soon as this episode posts. I'm gonna be counting down 20 minus days.
Hello.
Because it's time. I'm so ready for this to move into this next phase. But they can find me doing what I normally do on the interwebs. I'm on Twitter as KaiLovesYou, KaiLovesu. I'm also on Instagram. Just add a 2 to that, KaiLovesYou 2. We are out of here, y'all. Peace.